Could be a team overseas who would love to snatch Caitlin Clark away from us and give her a crazy offer. I mean, Ice Cube was about to give her $5 million to play in less than 10 games in the Big Three. So the money is there, and if these owners are smart with it, I could definitely see more WNBA players going overseas and possibly.
In the world of professional sports, few athletes reach the level of stardom and influence that Caitlin has achieved in women's basketball. Her rise to prominence has been marked by stellar performances, record-breaking achievements, and a powerful impact on the game. Yet, despite her success on the court, Caitlin shocked fans and analysts alike when she announced her decision to take a break from basketball. The news left many wondering, was this just a temporary hiatus or a sign of deeper frustrations with the WNBA? Fast forward to recent developments, and the story takes an unexpected turn. Caitlin, who seemed to be stepping away from the game altogether, is now rumored to be considering a move to play in Europe.
Basketball has really consumed my life for a year, so I feel like it'll be good for me to kind of reflect back on everything that's happened.
Lucrative offers from prominent European teams have caught her attention, and a decision could be imminent. This potential move has not only reignited discussions about Caitlin's future, but also raised important questions about the state of women's basketball, both in the U.S. and abroad.
Abby is already in Istanbul, where she will be playing for the offseason, and from the sounds of this interview, it seems like she's probably going to make more money overseas in EuroLeague than she did during this WNBA season.
As Caitlin weighs her options, the outcome could have a ripple effect on the entire sport. The prospect of one of the WNBA's biggest stars leaving for Europe sends shockwaves through the basketball world.
We're going to load up against better competition, and she played an entire college basketball season, and she didn't play well. And I said at the time, she didn't deserve to be on the Olympic team. And at the time, I felt that.
In this extended analysis, we'll explore Caitlin's remarkable journey, the factors behind her decision to step away, the lure of European basketball, the challenges facing the WNBA, and what this all means for the future of the game.
Qualified for their jobs, and so they've allowed the Caitlin Clark abuse to go on and on and on while everybody pretends, oh, it's Caitlin Clark's fans. They're on Twitter, and they're horrible. They focus on that rather than the real persecution and inappropriate behavior of their very own WNBA.
Caitlin's journey to the top of women's basketball began early, with a passion for the sport that was evident from a young age. Growing up in a sports-oriented family, she quickly became a standout player in high school, dominating her peers with her exceptional skills, court vision, and scoring ability.
Our biggest star in the league, Caitlin Clark, is only making a base salary of around $76,000 or $78,000. So Caitlin's rookie salary is a little over $300,000 for 4 years, and that's all that she's going to make in the WNBA.
By the time she entered college, Caitlin was already being hailed as a future star. Her collegiate career only solidified those predictions. Caitlin was a force to be reckoned with, leading her team to numerous victories and earning countless accolades along the way. Her ability to score from anywhere on the court, combined with her knack for creating opportunities for her teammates, made her one of the most exciting players to watch. It wasn't long before the WNBA came calling.
The WNBA playoffs are over. You wonder why they sat and watched her get stabbed in the eye by Dejanay Carrington and did nothing? They want her out of the playoffs. They think they're going to use these playoffs to build up a 6'5" Amazon woman, Asia Wilson, into the biggest star in sports. It ain't happening.
Caitlin's transition to the WNBA was seamless. From the moment she stepped onto the court as a professional, she made an immediate impact. Her rookie season was nothing short of spectacular, as she quickly established herself as one of the league's top players.
The WNBA has been a mess this year. It has been so unprofessional, and they need to step it up, and they need to step it up quick, and they also need to, I don't know if an apology is warranted to Caitlin Clark, or they just need to, in general, do better.
Fans were drawn to her electrifying style of play, and her popularity soared. Caitlin's name became synonymous with success, and she was often compared to the greats who had come before her. Over the next few seasons, Caitlin continued to elevate her game. She broke records left and right, setting new benchmarks for points scored, assists, and triple-doubles. Her performances on the court were awe-inspiring, and she regularly put her team in a position to compete for championships. By all accounts, Caitlin was living up to, and even exceeding, the lofty expectations placed upon her.
The WNBA is going to release a statement, and Alyssa Thomas and these other girls are going to hold press conferences. Have you seen these tweets? Oh, how hurtful they are. Sticks and fingernails may put out my eye, but words, that's what really kills me.
Yet, despite her individual success, something seemed amiss. While Caitlin was thriving on the court, her relationship with the WNBA wasn't as harmonious as it appeared. Behind the scenes, there were growing frustrations, both personal and professional, that would eventually come to the forefront.
Victor Wembanyama, who was, an NBA star coming into the league, he just finished up his rookie season. He's going into his next. If you look at his rookie salary, which was around $55 million for 4 years, and then you look at Caitlin Clark's $300 and I think it was $38,000.
When Caitlin announced her decision to take a break from basketball, it sent shockwaves through the sports world. Here was one of the brightest stars in the WNBA, at the peak of her career, stepping away from the game that had made her a household name. Fans were confused, analysts were puzzled, and many speculated about the reasons behind her decision.
The response of folks that don't think she is praised enough and she is above reproach in terms of criticism, or that praising another player is an affront to her, is like, whoa, bro. Also, you're in my mentions talking about women's basketball? I've never ever seen you before in my life.
For Caitlin, the break wasn't just about rest. It was about reflection. Over the years, she had become increasingly frustrated with certain aspects of the WNBA. One of the most significant issues was the disparity in pay between male and female basketball players. While NBA stars were earning multi-million-dollar salaries, WNBA players, despite their talent and dedication, were being compensated at a fraction of that level.
Caitlin Clark, it seems like this entire season, she was the solution for so many things, but so many players, coaches, media people, so many people were also painting her out to be the problem. She could never do enough. She could never speak out enough. Her fans were the issue. Fever fans were the issue.
Caitlin, like many other players, felt that this was unfair and indicative of a broader issue in women's sports. In addition to the pay gap, Caitlin also struggled with the lack of media coverage and visibility that the WNBA received. Despite her record-breaking performances, the league still lagged behind in terms of fan engagement and television ratings. For a player of Caitlin's caliber, this was disheartening. She had dedicated her life to the sport, and yet it seemed that women's basketball was still fighting for the recognition it deserved.
In one of the playoffs, the Fever had nearly 2 million viewers tuning in, while all the other games had around 400,000. Even the WNBA Countdown, which was aired before the Indiana Fever game, had more viewers than 2 of the series.
As Caitlin took time away from the game, offers from European teams began to pour in. European basketball leagues, particularly in countries like Spain, Russia, and Turkey, have long been known for their competitive play and financial resources. For years, top WNBA players have played in Europe during the off-season to supplement their incomes. But for Caitlin, these offers were different. They were full-time opportunities with salaries that far exceeded what she was making in the WNBA.
Have somebody that's come along, who, by the way, I'm going to go there, who happens to be white, and brought a level of attention and allure to the sport it had not received before. And what we were seeing from an abundance of folks appeared to be resentment.
The money being offered by European teams was substantial, and for Caitlin, it was hard to ignore. These offers highlighted the stark contrast between the financial support for women's basketball in Europe versus the U.S. In many European countries, women's sports receive far more investment and media attention. The fan bases are passionate, the facilities are world-class, and players are treated with the respect and recognition they deserve.
That's exactly what I'm saying, because I think it makes a mockery of the women's game. If the focus on, now we just have to have people because of marketing and their attention, and they're not as talented, and we're not putting the best team out.
Beyond the financial allure, the prospect of playing in Europe presented Caitlin with a fresh start. After years of battling for visibility and equality in the WNBA, the chance to compete in a new environment with new challenges was enticing. For someone who had already accomplished so much in the WNBA, the idea of starting a new chapter in her career abroad was appealing.
Let me thank Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell and all the rest for refusing to say die, refusing to lose, fighting back again and again and again, and playing at a much higher level than they should be at this stage and age. Was I ever entertained?
While Caitlin was contemplating her future, the WNBA was grappling with a troubling reality: declining viewership. In recent years, the league had made significant strides in terms of sponsorships, partnerships, and media exposure. However, the audience numbers weren't keeping pace with the league's ambitions. Despite efforts to grow the game and promote its players, the WNBA was still struggling to capture a wider fan base. One of the reasons for this decline could be linked to how the league treated its star players.
Every single time that they were on the road, you even had Dallas Wings players saying, like, it kind of sucks seeing so many Indiana Fever and 2020 or 22 jerseys in the stands, but it's also cool to see a lot of people in the stands. Like, Indiana Fever was turning away games into home games, and so it's kind of sad that through all of that, Caitlin was still advocating for players on the other team to get bonuses because she saw the kind of money and eyeballs and viewership that all of this was generating.
Caitlin's frustration with the WNBA was emblematic of a larger issue within the league: an inability to fully support and promote its top talent. Players like Caitlin bring viewers to the game, and when those players feel undervalued, it can have a ripple effect on the league's popularity. If Caitlin were to leave for Europe, the WNBA would lose not only a top player, but also one of its most marketable stars. This could have serious repercussions for the league's future. In an era where professional sports leagues are fighting for viewership and relevance, losing a player of Caitlin's stature would be a significant blow. The WNBA's fan base is passionate, but it isn't as large or as entrenched as the NBA's. As a result, every star player matters, and Caitlin matters more than most.
The Caitlin Clark effect is definitely real. I mean, we can all see that. However, experiencing it in person is totally different. I was at the Fever and Indiana game last night, and the amount of 22s that I saw on the way to the arena and inside the Capital One Arena might as well have just been a home game for Caitlin Clark. Not Indiana, Caitlin Clark. The thing is, that didn't surprise me. But what did surprise me was how packed the game was.
Despite her frustrations with the WNBA, Caitlin's legacy within the league is already cemented. Her most recent season was one for the history books. She broke multiple records, including career milestones for points scored and triple-doubles. Fans marveled at her ability to take over games, and her highlights regularly went viral on social media. It was clear that Caitlin was not just a great player, she was a generational talent. As Caitlin considers her options, she does so from a position of strength. She has already achieved so much in the WNBA, and her record-breaking performances have made her a household name.
What is the major point that you want to make here, your major thesis statement on this? Because every time Caitlin Clark comes up, I feel like there's something that you want to get off your chest in terms of this narrative, where you're frustrated.
Well, first of all, I'm not frustrated. Number two, I did get stuff off my chest on numerous occasions. I'm just reiterating my points because I think one of the things that needed to be mentioned was that even though Caitlin Clark is new to this, and even though she has proven to be a potentially sensational player, the resentment that some, not most, not all, that stuff that was going on was real.
Whether she chooses to stay in the league or pursue opportunities abroad, Caitlin's legacy is secure. However, the prospect of her moving to Europe raises an interesting question. What happens to her legacy if she leaves the WNBA? In many ways, Caitlin's departure would be a loss for the league, but it could also be an opportunity for her to expand her influence on a global scale. Europe's basketball leagues are competitive and respected, and Caitlin's presence there could help elevate the profile of women's basketball worldwide. The WNBA's response: can they win Caitlin back? As rumors of Caitlin's potential move to Europe swirl, the WNBA finds itself in a delicate position. The league is reportedly making efforts to keep Caitlin in the fold, recognizing her immense value both on and off the court. There are discussions about offering her a more lucrative contract and addressing some of the issues she raised before her break. However, it's unclear whether these efforts will be enough to sway her decision.
To me, Angel may have exceeded expectations, even more so than Kate.
The WNBA is at a crossroads. On the one hand, it needs to maintain its financial sustainability and avoid making drastic changes to its salary structure. On the other hand, the league risks alienating its top players if it doesn't address their concerns. Caitlin's case could serve as a wake-up call for the WNBA, prompting it to reevaluate how it treats its players and markets the league. Conclusion: Caitlin's decision and the future of women's basketball. Caitlin's potential move to Europe represents more than just a career decision. It's a pivotal moment for women's basketball. Whether she chooses to stay in the WNBA or pursue opportunities abroad, her choice will have far-reaching implications for the sport. If Caitlin does decide to leave, it could signal a broader trend of top players seeking better financial opportunities and greater respect overseas. At the same time, Caitlin's departure could serve as a catalyst for change within the WNBA. The league has made significant progress in recent years, but it still faces challenges when it comes to compensation, visibility, and player satisfaction. Caitlin's case highlights these issues and underscores the need for the WNBA to adapt if it wants to retain its top talent. Ultimately, the future of women's basketball is bright, and Caitlin will continue to be a central figure in its growth. Whether she's playing in the WNBA or in Europe, her impact on the game will be felt for years to come. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. More content is on screen now.